Hey, what is up, mortals? It is I, the Spirit of Ice, here with a new video for you today. Welcome to part 3 of What If Deku was Green Lantern. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So we begin. It had been about 11 months since Izuku Midoriya had been gifted with the emerald ring that contained the Ion entity, and in his mind, he hadn't made as much progress as he should have. Supposedly, the entities were created shortly after life itself came into being and existed in each incarnation of reality, which meant that they were capable of affecting the entire universe at full power. While Izuku could neither feel nor comprehend such power, he understood that the issue was his own fear and lack of imagination. Ion had explained it to him simply. Due to hosting an entity, the ring had an infinite charge. The problem was that Ion was a passive being, useful for supplying energy but rarely ever making anything with it, which Izuku thought was weird for the entity created from willpower. In any case, the power Ion granted was useless if Izuku didn't do anything with it. This was an issue that was, admittedly, partially resolved during his talks with Ion, especially the one during his spar with Bakugo, who Izuku had begun referring to by his last name at Ion's request in order to differentiate himself from the useless Deku that he was before, where he learned to make constructs based on the heroes he saw in the world. He had been able to make specific things like an All Might mech, a real 10-foot mech, not the gang Orca look-alike armor he'd made at first, during one of their more recent bouts, as well as some custom capture focus creations that resembled Eraserhead's scarf and Kamui Woods' wooden cages during his outings at nearby parks. But there was still the matter of his lack of confidence. As it turned out, Ion had gravitated toward him based on the willpower he could have, not his current amount, which was quite fortunate as Midoriya could not actually bring himself to fight another person in a fair one-on-one battle. He had no problem fighting Bakugo in a friendly spar where he knew how to easily beat him, and Izuku was beating him quite easily now because neither of them went overboard out of fear of getting punished by the law, nor did he have any issues when imagining capturing a rampaging villain or fighting a group of people. But just him versus someone else? With how much power he was supposed to have, Izuku doubted he could hold back properly against a normal opponent. He was scared that he enjoyed it a little bit too much and would kill the opposer, as ridiculous as it sounded. But he experienced firsthand with Bakugo that power corrupts, and with Ion being more passive than nurturing, well, Midoriya didn't see his fears as completely unfounded. But those fears would have to wait for another day, because tomorrow was the date for the entrance exam for UA, and if he wanted to get in, he couldn't let his fear get the better of him. Worst case scenario, I can get into Gen Ed and move into the hero course after the sports festival. And that's a month or so out, so I'll have time to... It's been 11 months since I granted you the power of the Torchbearer. You are not going to get any stronger or weaker than you are now, and you are not going to get any more ready if you keep stalling. There is no one stronger than you aside from Adara, and she cannot reach her full potential without us. You must abandon your fear, Izuku Midoriya. You are as ready as you will ever be. Ion interrupted his feelings with his own thoughts on the matter. Midoriya stayed silent. In his heart, he knew that Ion was right, but he couldn't shake his irrational fear of failure no matter how hard he tried. Nerves are just a part of life, so I'll try my best tomorrow, Ion. In his mind and in his heart, Izuku Midoriya swore to give the entrance exam everything he had, and as if agreeing with its wielder, his green ring shined brightly, illuminating the darkness that covered his bedroom. The next day, Izuku Midoriya made his way to the gates of UA and stopped right at them. Not out of fear, mind you, as one might expect from such a timid boy, but instead in an attempt to steel his resolve one last time before placing his dream on the line. Rationally speaking, he knew that UA was not as important as he once thought, as he would one day have to patrol the entire sector, and that was only if he was able to eventually recreate the core. Otherwise, he would be in charge of just about all the universe. But for now, Izuku Midoriya chose, instead, to focus on the here and now. It all started at this school. He would get in, become a hero, and then move on to the rest of the galaxy when he was finished. Aside from Red Lanterns that decided to follow the Guardians here, and possibly the Orange Lantern Larfleas, both of whom had been rather quiet in comparison to the things he'd heard about them, there was no one to force him to think about the responsibility he would inevitably, eventually have to shoulder. So, for now, he'd taken one step at a... Move it, Green Deku! Blocking the friggin' entrance! Oh! Izuku fell forward as he was pushed out of the way by his now frenemy Katsuki Bakugo, who didn't spare him a second look as he fell to the ground. Not that it hurt, which Katsuki would know from having been the one person to witness the birth of Earth's first human Green Lantern, but still. Ooh, that was harsh. Are you okay? A voice called out to him. Huh? Midoriya looked around as he got up, spotting a girl from behind him with a concerned look on her face. It took him a minute to realize that she was concerned for him, a realization that made him blush slightly. I'm fine, thanks. Are you here for the... Oh, I'm here for the Hero Course exams, too. Speaking of, we've technically got to go now, or we'll be late. I'll see you inside, Deku. That's not my name, though, Deku muttered as the girl walked off. Well, it didn't matter. He could correct her later. For now, he had an exam to take. All right, examinees! Who's ready to rumble? The pro hero Present Mike screamed as he addressed the auditorium full of prospective heroes. Whoa, he's even louder up close. This is so cool, Izuku thought, starstruck. He also took pride in the fact that he wasn't muttering out loud and was able to keep it all inside his head. I can already see the stupidity inside your eyes, Deku. Calm the hell down. Do you mind, Katsuki? I'm trying to listen to a pro. Midoriya shot back, surprising the blonde. There are 3 types of robots for the exam. 1-pointers, 2-pointers, and 3-pointers, Present Mike said. I'm gonna assure you can all guess why they're called that, so I'll just move on. The next bit of info is... Excuse me, someone interjected. It was another examinee with dark blue hair and glasses who was standing upright while raising his hand. You said there were only 3 robot types in the exam, but the handout you gave us has 4 types on it. If this is some kind of misprint, then UA should be ashamed of such a mistake. Woo! Good catch! See, the 4th type isn't actually something you'll gain points from. It's a 0-pointer that only serves as an obstacle for everyone, so you'd best avoid it. Present Mike responded. Thank you, the boy bowed. Now then, if that's all, then let's get started. Plus Ultra style! Yeah! Everyone cheered as Present Mike conducted his speech. All right, so how should I go about this? Midoriya thought as he waited outside the faux city. I mean, I don't have a problem destroying robots, and I can easily take them all out, I think. But I don't want to take all the points myself. I need to leave robots for the other examinees. What do you think I should do here, Ion? Just use a variety of short and long-range attacks to mix it up. Your opponents certainly aren't going to hold back. So why should you? That was a fair point. Izuku was sure that the rest of the examinees weren't particularly concerned about leaving points for everyone else, so it would only hinder him if he tried helping them out. But this was a hero school, so how could he earn such a title by ignoring the needs of others? As Izuku was pondering the proper amount of restraint to use, he almost completely missed the howling voice of Present Mike that signaled the opening of the gates. And start! Wait, what? Izuku flinched. Wasn't there supposed to be a... There are no countdowns, IRL! Come on! Get a move on already! Oh, crap! As Izuku looked around him, he saw the horrifying truth. Everyone else had already begun racing into the arena while he was distracted. In other words... I'm the one that's gonna lose out on all the points! Deku screamed as he raced forward, momentarily forgetting the fact that he could fly or make some construct to close the distance. This video is sponsored by Grubhub. With more than 3,000 store locations, Grubhub offers on-demand convenience delivery across the country. You can search for restaurants by cuisine or locations, quickly order food from the menu, and track your order from the app. All hassle-free and without any extra charges. Grubhub charges less than other food delivery services, allowing you to get the best value for your money. With Grubhub Plus, you can get free delivery prices for 10 meals every month on orders of $12 or more for only $9.99 a month. That's not all. You can use the code AFF25 to save 25% off your first mobile order of $15 or more. This code is for a limited time, so again, get 25% off your first mobile order of $15 or more if you use the code AFF25. Check the link in the description. Thank you again to Grubhub for sponsoring this video. Human detected. Prepare to be exterminated. As Izuku made it inside the city, a two-pointer came charging at him. Before Izuku could even form a full construct, he heard someone beside him speak up. Merci. Thank you for your assistance. Before he could process anything, a bright beam of sparkly light flies past Izuku, destroying the robot that was charging at him. Izuku turned to his side to see the literal embodiment of the word Flash. Whoever he was, he had bright blonde hair and what looked like stars for eyes. He also had a belt around his stomach, signifying that the beam came from there. The boy winked at Izuku before walking away. The heck was that? No, wait! I need to get going! Izuku quickly remembered his current goal and crafted a pair of Ingenium-themed skates with thrusters attached before rushing forward. Okay. Three-pointer! Deku shouted before firing an emerald blast that shattered a robot into pieces. 22 points! 23! He shouted as he blasted another one apart. Alright, so how many points do I actually need to get in? That blue-haired guy who reminds me of Ingenium said he had 40, I think. And that girl who talked to me had 35. Assuming those are close to passable, I'd at least want 30 to 33. So how long do I...
3 minutes left, listeners!
I think that answers your question, doesn't it? Ion quipped. Yep, he muttered. I need to work fast. Elsewhere, in a needlessly dark room illuminated only by the live footage of the entrance exams, the pros who would teach the passing examinees were observing them with interest. It seems we have a larger batch of potential candidates this year, a small mammal creature commented. Beside him, a buff blonde man with an intimidating smile spoke up. I'd say so, Mr. Principal. What great quirk these students all have. Yeah, sure. The rest of the silhouettes half-heartedly agreed, not quite liking how the blonde man was so loud about his opinions, but not really disagreeing with him. The mammal smirked. Well, since you all seem to like them, how about we release our little obstacle? Not waiting for an answer, the small animal proceeded to flip a switch on the control panel. As the students were racing across the fake city, they suddenly felt a strong rumbling. An earthquake? Someone asked. No way. UI wouldn't be affected by something like that, someone else responded. Seriously, what is that? Midoriya asked while looking around, only to be surprised by a sudden shadow that came over him. He looked up to see what it was, only to stumble back in fear. No way! Is that the zero-pointer? As everyone looked up, they all mirrored Izuku's reaction, rushing away from the robot that towered over the buildings. You know, I dislike fear in general, but I won't berate you if you flee from this scene. Even if our power is technically infinite, there's no need to use it needlessly in a worthless fight. Ion spoke into his mind. Yeah, you're right, Ion. No need for us to be here. Deku muttered while turning around and firing up his booster boots again. Help! He stopped suddenly when he heard a voice calling out from behind him. When he turned around, he saw someone trapped under the rubble of the buildings that had been broken by the zero-pointer. It's that girl from before! Without even thinking about it, he raced back to the girl, stopping just as he reached her. Hey, miss, are you okay? He asked her. You're that boy from before, she muttered before looking back at her leg. My ankle, I think I twisted it. I can't lift it at all, she muttered, looking down as she spoke. Okay, what do I do here? Izuku assessed the situation at hand. She's trapped under here, but I can get her out pretty easily. The question is, do I try and fight the zero-pointer in case someone else is trapped somewhere I can't see? Or do I just take her and leave? If someone else is trapped on the other side of these buildings, they'd probably get hurt by the rest of the debris. I've got it! He exclaimed, causing the girl to look at him in surprise. Once I get you out of the city, I can go back and save anyone else who's trapped around here. As he finished speaking, he used his ring to summon a bunch of hands to move the rubble away, freeing the girl instantly. Izuku looked up for a moment, noting that the zero-pointer was still a minute away. Okay, gotta make this quick, he grunted, grabbing the girl in a bridal-style position and activating his Ingeni boots. With the increase in speed it gave him, he was able to make it back to the entrance in 20 seconds. Hey, look after her, okay? Izuku said in a quick manner while handing the girl over to the blue-haired boy from earlier, and then racing back to save more people. Wait! You can't go back! The boy tried speaking up, but Izuku was already gone. Come on! If anyone's here, please start shouting! Izuku's mind raced as he sped around the city, avoiding the falling pieces of building that the zero-pointer brought about with its gargantuan size. He hadn't seen anyone else yet, but he was scared that someone was possibly knocked out and or buried under the rubble. Okay, this is useless. Izuku said as he came to a stop right in front of the zero-pointer.
I can't find anyone like this. At this point, it would just be easier to stop the zero-pointer from causing any more damage and let the staff handle the rest. The exam's almost over anyway, so anyone trapped won't have to wait long. So, come at me!
Izuku screamed as he began manifesting a construct far bigger than anything he'd made before. In all of 3 seconds, Izuku had created an all-might mech that was as tall as the zero-pointer, his adrenaline supercharging his will and removing his usual restraint.
Detroit! Smash!
With a mighty yell, Izuku threw a mean jab straight at the robot, not just connecting straight with its eye, but detaching its head entirely and sending it flying back, much to the amazement of everyone else, including the observers that were watching the whole thing.
Time! Time's up, little listeners!
The voice of President Mike forced them all back to reality as many of the examinees began despairing at their own lack of points. But as for the one who'd stunned them all in the first place, Izuku Midoriya demade his all-might mecha, floating down to the ground as the Green Lantern insignia disappeared from his tracksuit. Aside from feeling a bit lightheaded from all the running he did, he felt completely fine. He dare say it, he was feeling quite pleased at how he'd handled the entire zero-pointer situation. If he was being honest, he felt a sense of satisfaction as he made his way out of the testing center. Seeing all the eyes on him after his little spectacle with his greatest construct yet, for the first time in his life, he couldn't wait to see his old friend Kachan again. Thank you all so much for indulging yourselves in this information so far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to thank our patrons. BD Flames, Ethan Davis, Terry Chills, Shifter Mills, Adam Zagel, Zill, XAV, Beat 03, and Joshua Phelps. Secondly, I'd like to thank all of our YouTube members. Toya Costa, Robert the King, Sith Lord 906, CF 2364, and Knuckles, Rimuru Tempest, Angel Juarez, Donald C. Stewart, Brian Greer, and Demonetized Fucks. Thirdly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has got you covered. We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake animes with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Fourthly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members 16 years or older to join our crew. You can sign up for whatever category fulfills your interests by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video. Once again, I have been the Spirit of Ice. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.